everyone, and welcome to Gerard the Dinosaur, the podcast where we go behind the scenes and we look at the makers of your favorite pieces of entertainment. Today, we will be looking at Dian Amar, and she is a very talented maker of entertainment. She is a singer, she is a songwriter, she is an artist, she is a screenwriter, she has done so many things, and we are going to hear from her today. Dian and I, we met at the International Indie Gathering, which is a film festival that occurs every year to celebrate independent film. I was there to receive an award for a short film that I created, a student short film. And Dian, you were there for a screenplay, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, I was there for that festival and received the award for in the horror category, and then that's where we met. And yeah, it's really nice to just kind of talk to you again. And
thank you for being here. I'm so happy to talk to you again.
Same here. Yeah, I really like that you're doing this show, and I really like your title of the show. It's awesome.
Thank you.
How did you come up with that title? Or what's the story behind it?
So it's quite the story, and I don't think it's not related at all, but it's the funniest story ever. So I was at a raffle this one time, and I was in 8th grade, and they were raffling this giant green dinosaur. Like this giant green stuffed animal dinosaur. And everyone, all these children put their tickets in for that dinosaur, like all these little first and second graders. And I put like one ticket into the basket for that dinosaur. And I was like, just for fun, like ironically, I put a ticket into that basket. And I won the dinosaur. And so I hung my head, like I was walking up there, and there's like all these first and second graders crying as me, this 8th grader, this freshman, walking up to receive my dinosaur. And so I don't know, now I've decided to carry that shame with me, but I've actually decided it's kind of funny. So everything I do, I have that dinosaur with me.
It made me smile.
No, I love it. And on the flip side, to everyone, I've read Dian's script, and it is amazing. It's horrifying. It's great. I loved it. I think it's really cool.
Oh, thank you so much.
No, for sure.
Yeah, so really, ever since I was a kid, I've been really fascinated with zombie movies, just the idea of the undead. So this was the story that I had with me for a while that I just needed to get out of me, kind of thing. So I just started writing this movie about these like group of people that get trapped in this store. The movie is called DEAD-MART. It kind of starts out like something that you're familiar with, like the world of these like undead. We kind of know what to expect. We feel comfortable with the situation. We almost feel like we know how it's gonna end. So, but the thing about it is that I just wanted to take you out of your comfort zone, like midway kind of through the film.
Okay.
So the name of it's DEAD-MART, and it's really focused on this troubled girl. It's a young troubled girl who must learn not only to cope with her fears, but to also survive this army of the undead. There's some ridiculousness in it, some really crazy situations.
Oh yeah, I've read it.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I originally wanted to make it very like over the top, but as I kept writing it, it just kept transforming into this very dark psychological kind of horror. So like a way to describe it is imagine Dawn of the Dead meets Psycho in a way. Oh
my goodness.
It's like a really crazy thing. But really it's just I wanted to add a lot of, strong female leads, and really just all the elements that you would expect in a movie like that. But with the darkness in there, like something, it just throws you out of balance. You really don't know where you're gonna end up, kind of thing. So, yeah, I just had a lot of fun writing it.
Well, that's great. That's great to hear. But let's rewind, because you've done stuff now, but how did you get into it? Because, like, you do so much. How did you choose what you wanted to do? How did you get here? Yeah.
Oh man, it just started, like I don't have a memory where I'm not.
Sorry, that was a huge question, wasn't it? That was like a horribly big question.
That was great. That was great. Like, I just been doing it since I was a kid, I guess. I just love creating stuff. I like creating music, stories, images, just arts. And, lately I've been doing these art exhibits. But yeah, I mean, I've been playing guitar since I was like 6 or 7. And kind of like around the same age is when I really got into this Japanese animation that I didn't know it at the time, but later, like in my high school years, just looking back to that animation really impacted me and really made me want to be interested in, for some reason, storytelling, and films in general. At this time, like I've really come to like realize that, I don't know, like I just really love creating stuff. I don't know, like that's very general, I know, but I don't know.
No, I understand the feeling completely. It's like, you can have all the money in the world, but if you're not creating something, it just doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, and you know what? It's just I have photos of me when I'm like 2 or 3, and we're at the beach, and I'm carrying this little toy guitar around me, like, in every photo. And I just feel like ever since I was a kid, I've always been involved with music or something like that. And my mom always tells me these stories that I would just, sit at the table, and she'd be trying to get me to do my homework, but I would instead tell her these stories that I was creating, so I wouldn't do my homework. I'm like, oh, let me tell you what happened today at school, and then I would just start telling like all these ridiculous things, like, and then like the dinosaurs came, or I don't know, like something ridiculous. And so I don't know, that's always been inside me. And
the dinosaurs never came to my school.
I guess I just took your title and like related somehow to, like, as an example.
I'm glad my grief can inspire you.
It's great. So I don't know, I just started very early, just being involved in arts, whether it was, music, writing, or film. I think writing and film came later though. It was more like in high school. I just started getting very interested in that, and I wasn't really active in it. Just the idea of filmmaking and the art behind the movies was very appealing to me. And then later on, a few years later, because of that Japanese animation that I was telling you that I watched when I was 6 or 7, I really wanted to bring that Japanese animation into like a live action movie. And because of that, it made me want to write screenplays, because in my mind at this age of, like 18 or whatever, I'm thinking one day I'm going to meet like maybe the creator or something, and I have to be prepared to show him my amazing screenplay to make this, animation into life, And that's really how it all started. Okay. Yeah.
And how, like, so then now, fast forwarding back to now, how do you do it? How do you, like, balance it? Because sometimes I will be like, I want to write a screenplay, and I also want to write some music, and I also maybe want to shoot a movie, but I'll be like, never mind, that's too much for me to do at once. How do you do that?
Yeah, you know what? I've tried a few things. What I feel that really helps me is just kind of rotate every week. um, like focused. Like for example, I'll start one week and I'll just focus on music 100%, and then the next week I'll focus on writing 100%. And then the art shows that I've been creating are just more like in my time off, I guess, like the little time that I have to spare, I'll like kind of like sit down and organize them. But I find that rotating things just, per week or whatever, it really helps me. And I've also tried a few things because like I feel like the day is so short with the things that I want to do.
Mm-hmm. Always.
So I just, for a period of time, I started waking up super early to try to get my writing done early in the morning. Like I started getting up like at 5 or 6, and then just get writing done. And then the rest of the day, I could just, take it a little bit easier and not feeling like the anxiety that, oh my God, I need to write today. I haven't written anything, not a single word. And then another thing I tried is sometimes I'll sit and watch TV and I'm like, I'll just do it for 30 minutes, and then like 2 hours pass, and then, like I didn't get anything done in those 2 hours. So what I just started doing was no TV for a few months, and then I immediately become more productive.
Honestly, I love that. YouTube's been my biggest enemy these past couple months. Like,
yeah.
Like now I know how to cook a really good scrambled egg, but
there
I
you
haven't
go.
gotten any
There you
projects
go.
done.
No, I mean it's always it's sometimes hard to balance it out, but I just, like I said, most likely take it a week at a time.
Well, Speaking of working, Dian, you seem to be a very productive person. And for those of you who don't know yet, Dian always has something going on. And one of the things that recently has appeared in her, what would you call it? Her portfolio of works is her art exhibit that recently premiered in Algonquin, the Love Frequency exhibit. What was that about? Do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, I've been doing these art exhibits. I just started last year, and it's they take place at this bookstore in Algonquin, and it just kind of started out with the idea that there's space, there's always space for local writers to, go and present their newest works, and they're also, have like a little table so they can sell their books and everything. And I just thought like this space can also be used to support all kinds of art, all art forms, not just the writing,
Mm-hmm.
And I just presented that idea to the bookstore, and they liked it. I was like, if we have artists, local artists that would like to come and exhibit their artwork, or local musicians that maybe have an album coming out, they can come and release it or promote it here, or even, like filmmaking, if there's some film artists out there that, they're trying to promote their new movie. I just presented that idea, and they seem to like it. And so far, the first thing that happened was the art exhibit. I had contacts with a few artists, and they were very happy to participate. And we did one in September last year. It was the Mexico Mágico art exhibit.
Huh.
So the magic of Mexico. And it was a really beautiful art exhibit. It was 5 Mexican local artists. They brought in their love for Mexico through, beautiful art pieces, all types of art. It was like sculpture, watercolor, oil on canvas, acrylic, and photography. And it was such a great experience. They, everybody enjoyed themselves. The artist, the audience, the spectators, and it was just a really cool thing to do because it's so cultural and I don't know, people just really enjoyed themselves. And now this, I also did, I love doing like little videos, you know, like little behind the scenes or short documentaries. So I shot a little video of it and just kind of like interview the artist and to learn more about their work and everything like that. So that was really fun to do. And then the next one we did was, we did one for employees of the bookstore, to present their artwork too. And then this last one was the Love Frequency art exhibit, which was just, you know, to celebrate love, you know, February, the month of love. Aww. And yeah, we had some really interesting pieces. We also, again, had sculpture and oil on canvas, acrylic, and again, it was four local artists, and 3 of them were actually employees of the bookstore.
Wow, I didn't know any. It's very interesting to hear about all of these different art projects, and Mexico Mágico, I loved hearing your side of that. Did you have a project in that, or were you just like doing the behind the scenes thing?
You know what? I was more like the event organizer, planner, whatever, you know, and I was also the host because I like doing it like in a way where it's very I've been told that it's very dramatic, I guess, because I don't just, you know, like show the artworks and come in and look at them. I actually you know, do like a big revelation, you know, like I put like a little like a sheet or I don't know, a blanket, I don't know what to call it, like over the paintings, and then I put like a red ribbon so that the artist can come and cut the ribbon like as a grand opening kind of thing. And I do like a little ceremony. I do the interviews for the artists and just shoot a little bit of, you know, footage. And then I also have a musician playing some guitar, like instrumental music. So I just like to do like the whole thing. So I do the planning, and then I'm also the host. And yeah, they've been working out. They've been a great success. So I'm really excited to keep doing these.
I had a really good question. I forgot what it was. So then I assume the Mexico Mágico theme was your idea too, then, right?
Yeah, I've been coming up with the themes for sure, yes. And I just, you know, it was September, it's, you know, and Mexican Independence Day, I just felt like it was the right thing to do. Like, it was so, I don't know, it was just like around the corner kind of thing. So I'm like, this is like the perfect opportunity to just bring some, you know, local Mexican artists to bring their art.
It's at this point that I like to kind of flip the tables. We go from the artistic side to like the technical side, and I kind of like to ask for whoever might be watching this, and they'll be like, I want to be a singer when I grow up, or a writer when I grow up, or something like that. So I usually ask whoever I'm interviewing, what do you use? What programs do you use? What software do you use? You know, what skill sets do you use, etc. What's the technical importance to be the artist that you are right now?
You know what? No, for sure. I'm like not technical at all. Okay, I'm like totally not technical. But when it comes to like software and stuff like that, I do.
Well, use... you know that. Sorry, that was probably way too big of a question, especially considering that you do so many different things. Let's start with maybe just like what do you need to do to be a musician?
You know what? You just have to go for it. Honestly,
I like that. I really like that.
You just have to go for it. You don't limit yourself. A lot of the times we spend a lot of like self-doubt or things like that. Like, I want to, I don't know, write this song or I want to record this song, but I don't know how to play this instrument and it's a key instrument because I want it to be in the song, or, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Don't limit yourself with those things,
I really like
there's so many ways that you can work around it, or if you don't know how to play it, you can learn how to play it. You can, if you can, hire someone to record it, or you can, learn all these amazing softwares that have all these instruments that sound very legit. I just feel you just have to go for it. You know what? There was a book I read that totally just kind of impacted me so much that from then on, I just have this way of thinking. And it started out because I wanted to record an album. And I was working not with the right musicians. And I had been struggling to find like the right lineup for the band to record the album. And it had been on for quite some time. So when I finally thought I had the right lineup, I went ahead and booked the studio. And we got to the studio, and I was still missing the drummer, and was waiting and waiting and waiting, and the drummer never showed up.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
So what happened next is, of course, I'm feeling gloomy and down and like, what am I going to do? But then, you know what? I decided to just kind of distract myself and go to the bookstore and just chill for a little bit. And I came across this book that basically inspired me. Like, it just told me, don't limit yourself. You can do it all, like a one girl band kind of thing, like that's how I took it. But to tell you what book that was, it was Rebel Without a Crew.
Rebel Without a Crew. Okay.
Yeah, Rebel Without a Crew. And that's you've seen El Mariachi. That's Robert Rodriguez. I don't know if you're familiar with Robert Rodriguez. The director.
Oh yeah, the director. Yeah, I didn't know if there's a different author, but no, yeah, I know the director.
Yeah. So basically,
Spy Kids.
It's So he tells his story of it's like his diary, like journal, and he tells the story of how he made a mariachi. He didn't have money. He didn't have the actors. He didn't know how to write a screenplay. It was just the summer. It was just a summer project. He just wanted to do a movie for the summer, and he didn't think it was going to be this amazing thing that was going to basically put him in Hollywood. So what I learned from him is that, like, don't become an expert just on your own craft. Become an expert on all the crafts around you, because then you're going to be unstoppable, and you can, you can accomplish anything that you want if you don't limit yourself.
I love that.
So because of that, then, you know what? I decided I'm going to learn how to play all of the instruments so I can record all of them and not have to be worried, if the musicians are going to show up or not. And that's what I did in a few months. I just kind of like learned the lines of, like the bass lines, the guitar parts, both the rhythm and the lead. I did my own, obviously, main vocals and harmonies. And a little bit of keyboard and all that. And I went into the studio and recorded the whole album. And it was one of the greatest feelings that I've ever had. Just have it complete and be like, wow.
Good for you. I like that.
And from then on, that's kind of been my philosophy in a way, like, you just have to go for it. Just don't make excuses. Just go for it.
My next question was going to be, what's one piece of advice for someone who wants to join the music industry? But I am assuming that would also be it.
Yes, definitely.
Go for it. Oh my gosh, excuse me.
It's okay. You're right.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, one more set of skills for screenwriting. What do you use to write your scripts?
For screenwriting, I use Final Draft. Like ever since I started, I just started with Final Draft. And it just works out for me. Like it already has all the tools that you need. It formats everything for you, characters, dialogues, action, everything it formats for you. So it's very easy to use, and I feel really comfortable. I haven't really tried any other software since I felt really comfortable with that one. But yeah, that's what I go to. And I also have like notebooks, like just to develop stories and stuff. Like I'll have a notebook where I can, like during the day or whatever, if I come up with like a dialogue or some characteristic for a character, I'll write it all down in the notebook, and then when I'm ready to go back to the screenplay, I'll just kind of like look through it and plug in the dialogue wherever I need it, or a certain scene that I just thought of, I'll just like plug it in. But yeah, I like to have like a notebook handy.
You have really good workflows. I'm gonna have to re-listen to this later and steal all your ideas.
No, for sure.
Between all your things that you do, music, script, film, how do they cross over? Do you do any like music in film? Do you do any stuff like that?
Yeah, it was a great honor. I had the opportunity to work with Tadeo Garcia, director, writer. He premiered his movie a couple years ago at the International Film Festival in Chicago, and it's a title called En Algún Lugar, also called Place to Be, and it was really cool because it was shot locally. Half of the movie, the other half was shot in Mexico, and it's a love story, and there's like the backdrop of immigration, and you know how your love survives. What are you gonna do if the person you love might have to cross the border and not come back, kind of a deal. So it was really nice to contribute in this type of story with my music. And then the other opportunity I had was to work on a film called Remember Our Days, which, to my knowledge, I believe it's still being edited right now. And that one, I recorded the music for what you are going to hear in the ending credits. And it was really fun. Went to the studio, did a little bit of guitars and vocals, and it was a fun experience.
That's neat. It's like you're in a movie yourself. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely cool.
Well, neat. I'm glad to hear that. And then that's what we'll go to.
And then that's cool. I guess I don't know, that's cool with me if you think that's
Okay, so we have listened to Dian's to all her recent projects and what she does and why she does it and her creative processes, but now it's time for us to actually listen to one of them. This piece is called Process of Evolution.
instead a place to amaze the box of shame, the spirit's desperate scene. Give us air to breathe. The cascade takes me no other place. Go inside the rhythm, it's never gonna die. We are meant to fly with open notes. I sing to you with open notes. I sing to you. To you. When the sky is softened no more, I feel there's something left to flow. When the mountain speaks, there's a glow beneath, loud and proud. Leave our footprints underneath. With open notes, I sing to you with open notes. I sing to
Wow, that was really good. Thank you for that, Dian.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for listening.
No problem. I'm glad that you shared it with us. So, before you go, we have one more question to ask you, and this is my favorite question to ask. You being a creator, I like to ask, what is your favorite piece of creation? What is your favorite or most inspiring film, most inspiring screenplay, your most inspiring song? I know it's really hard to choose one, so I guess you can choose a couple, but in general, I'm just really interested to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, so I think, well, for like things that I read, things that changed, like the way I think, was obviously that piece by Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Because I felt like it just completely, I don't know, just made me think in a more practical way after that. But like films, and like you said, it's like so hard to pick because there's so many, and just the ones that are in my mind right now, I will like to say there's a movie called Another Earth by Mike Cahill and co-writer Britt Marling.
Okay.
It's like it's one of those sci-fi movies that are so well grounded that it just feels so real and like it could actually happen. And it's kind of like one of those movies where you don't really need special effects to show that it's sci-fi. It's just the content or the theme is already sci-fi. So that's what I really appreciate about that movie. And obviously it's got a lot of great elements, like really great actors and storytelling, dialogue. You know, like there's just so many great things about it. But then going further back, I really like a movie called, in Spanish, El Ángel Exterminador. In English, The Exterminating Angel. This one is by Luis Buñuel. Okay. And, you know, he's the surrealist filmmaker. And it's just a really interesting concept, you know? It's about these really rich, you know, like these really elegant people. They're all together after like a show. Maybe like they went to the opera or something. But after this show, they go into this house, and it's like this mansion, really fancy. And then they all go into this room, and for some reason, they cannot go out of this room. And it's such a crazy concept, but there isn't like a door, there isn't a gate, there isn't anything holding them back. It's just once they're trying to leave it, something happens and they never get to leave it. It's just like the weirdest thing, but I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was really cool.
I'll have to add those two to my list. They sound very interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, that's you know, with movies. And
screenplay, I guess, is the same thing as.
Yeah, but I can add with screenplays, I really like Carol. I just really like the way it was written. And then song, like I can't even begin to say what my favorite song is, so maybe I'll skip that one because it's just so hard. I listen to so many music from different countries. I love French music. I listen to Japanese. Recently I got into Brazilian. Like I love listening to the bossa novas and the sambas, and like it's just and I love my Django Reinhardt, you know, like jazz, Paris. So it's just so hard for me to pick. But yeah, I'll you know, for films and screenplays, I would just for now I'll pick those because it's just so many too. So.
Well, those are good. Another Earth and the
Exterminating Angel. Yeah.
Exterminating Angel. Thank you. I'm gonna add those to my list, and I'm gonna take them up. I'm gonna watch them.
Awesome. You're gonna enjoy those.
Okay. Well, thank you again. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a fun time.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
I hope it wasn't terrible.
No, I thought it was amazing. Thank you so much for having me. This was really fun.
Is there anything that you'd like to add? Any social media, any events, anything coming up?
Yeah, definitely. You can always follow me. If you're on Facebook, it's just / Dian Amar Music. YouTube is the same thing, / Dian Amar Music, or Instagram is Dian _ Amar Music. And yeah, there is a big event coming up that I'm really, really excited about. This is going to be in Elgin at art gallery called Side Street Studio Arts. And this is going to be for April 12th. And I'm going to be performing. It's going to be an art show where a few of my family members are artists. They either do like oil on canvas or photography, and they have invited them to participate in this event. called En las manos de, and it's just called like the Medinas. It's like the family last name. And so it's gonna be really, really cool. I'm really excited. I'm gonna be, since it's like a very like Latin kind of theme, I'm gonna be playing some Latin grooves. And I don't know, I'm just really excited. So I hope everybody can go and check it out.
That sounds really cool. Maybe if I'm nearby Elgin, I'll stop by.
Yes.
I didn't know your whole family was. How very cool! You're all artists.
Yeah, thank you. They wanted to do this series of events for, just supporting the Latino artists, and the first event was in February, and it was a really great show. There was like 84 pieces, and I was like so impressed. Melina Scott is the artist, and then March there's gonna be the next event. And then the last one is April, where they invited, like I said, family members. And, of course, I'll be just collaborating musically and everything. So, yeah, we're going to be there. Oh, there's also going to be dancing, and it's very, like, pre-Hispanic type of dancing. So, like Aztec kind of, almost like tribal. So I'm very excited for that. Yes.
Okay. So keep an eye out for that, everyone. And again, thank you for coming so much. I really appreciate it. I really liked talking to you again. You were such a joy to be at the Indie Gathering.
Honestly, I really would love to collaborate with you in the future with something creative, and perhaps this next piece that I'm working on, which I'm really planning to produce. Perhaps you might be interested, but I really hope we can collaborate in the future. Oh my gosh,
did you hear that, everybody? She wants to collaborate with me. But no, I'd be honored. I'd love to, for sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I think we'll end it there. We went through a plethora of topics. I'm very, very excited to see what you have in store for us, and thank you, everyone, for listening, and we'll join you next time on Gerard the Dinosaur. See you next time.